Hello everybody, welcome to the channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're not. It's Baby Jesus with another gathering guide, and today we'll be taking a look at seeping stones or oil. Now oil is very important for a ton of tinctures and arcana stuff, as well as a lot of crafting, be it furnishings and a slew of other things. Now we are going to be taking a look today in an area called Weaver's Fen, which is a notoriously great area for oil in general, and a nice little convenient route that has some mobs. It's not a mob-free farming area, but nonetheless is very efficient. Will take maybe 10 or 15 minutes per run, and you guys can just cycle back and forth because a 15-minute timer is give or take what it takes for seeping stones to respawn. So you guys can see we are currently in the southernmost part of Weaver's Fen, just north of the South Pestilence Shrine. So where we are right now is where our route is going to start, and I will be using the map a lot today just to show you guys, because Weaver's Fen can look all identical. There's not too many really distinguishing features apart from, you know, a ton of different broken down houses and some big outcropping rocks. Now again, this is not mob free. I recommend you be around mid 20s to 30s level, or have a life staff for the self-healing component. So without further ado, let's hop right into it here. We are going to start, and underneath my indicator on the map is literally our first stone. So we're just going to mine that right away. Again, this route will take you anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes to complete, maybe a bit longer depending if all the nodes are there or not. And I'm starting with 220 oil in my inventory, so that'll give you a good reference point as to how much you can gather from this route. Now it does vary based on your mining luck, etc., so just keep all that in mind. So after you get the first one, you're just going to cross over the road here. You guys can see that was our first node right to my left there. And for the first part of this, we're literally just going to follow along this road for a while. So after you gather this one here, pardon me, you are just going to walk northwest along the road right up to our next node right here. So once you gather that, again, after this, we are going to veer off the road a little bit. We're going to go to this general area right in the elbow of the curve here, just to get our next couple of nodes. If you stay closer to the road, you won't go actually into the deep water, quote unquote, so you won't actually have any lack of movement speed. So you can just sort of kite around that little deep water there and maintain movement speed at full, at full speed. So a nice little triple spawn in this area here. Sometimes it's a quad if I'm not mistaken, but for the most part it's a 3. Pardon me. So we're gathering these seeping stones. Again, a nice 1, 2, 3 here. And I don't know if seeping stones actually vary like iron nodes, for example. The bigger ones take longer to respawn than the smaller ones. But if that's the case, there's normally a variance of about 5 minutes between the largest one and the smallest one. So just keep that in mind. If the small one comes back and the big one's not back yet, give it maybe another 4 or 5 minutes and it should be back. So once you gather this little section here, we're just going to move further up northwest along the road. You guys can actually see it on the compass right now. It should be a nice little 3, sometimes 4 spawn as well. So here we are right here. We have 1, 2, and then on the other side of the bushes we have a few more as well. So there we go. You guys can see there's another one right there. Now do keep in mind there are a lot of alligators in this area. There's a lot of blight crag, a lot of blight root as well. Make sure to gather everything you can. I don't recommend necessarily fighting the alligators because it can be very time consuming. They're pretty hardy buggers. But the rawhide they drop is very valuable if you want to sell that or just use it for crafting. Now you guys can see on the map here there's a ton of river crest, ton of blight crag. If you find you are doing this route a little bit faster than the respawn times of the seeping stones, just walk over and go gather these. The moats sell for a ton. You can craft with them. You can do Arcana. It's a great way to power level Arcana. I've made a video on that as well if it's something you're interested in. Other than that, I'm not going to veer off too much because I want you guys to get the general idea of this route first. So once you gather this, we're just going to cross over the little broken road, and we're going to go to this area here. Actually, we can go to that one. We'll go here. This area here, you're just going to cross over the road. Again, stay sort of to the right-hand side of it. There are a lot of mobs. If you go too far in, you will aggro them, which isn't the end of the world. These guys are inevitable. You will aggro them. It is just part of... It comes with the territory, literally. So just get them down. Again, the life staff is very important just because you can self-heal through all of this and take virtually no damage. And all it is more annoying than anything else. So our next mining node is going to be right here. We're going to mine this one. Again, this brings us to roughly where I put my pin. And we're going to have another one just a bit further northwest of us. You guys can see it under my marker. So up and over this dead log, and you guys can see it here. Our next one is just going to be across the water right there. We're going to go grab that one as well. And that being just sort of towards this decrepit house here. Now, after you gather this one, you do have a bit of a hike. We're going to be heading up just north of this little lake here. It's about 100 meters away. And then we're going to start making our way back down towards it. Our starting point. It being our starting point. Now, there are a ton of chests around here that you can use to gather your fluxes and your crafting materials. Don't overlook them. Extremely valuable if you want to use them to craft, or even if you just want to resell them. Ton of value in them. That's one of the places where you are going to go through deep, deep water, so you will have your movement speed affected. So we're going to grab the seeping stone here. And our next one is going to be naturally directly towards that abomination. So we're going to go up here, and it's just on the other side of the bushes here. We are going to have to kill him, and that's okay. I found if you manage to stay within melee range of him, he won't do that jumping screech attack, so you can just sort of stick to him and get that done. So you guys see here, like I said, just on the other side of the bush is your next seeping stone. Afterwards, we are going to have to go right through that ghost, which is convenient. You can walk through them. But we will have to kill him as well, so we can be proactive and just attack him right now and get a couple of pop shots off before he even knows we're here. Just like that. And then right on the other side of him, by this dead tree, is your next mining node. So after you gather this, we are going to head towards the giant rock. There's a decent amount of spawns there. We're just going to go in that general vicinity. Again, I put the pins down all the time because it's very easy to get lost in Weaver's Fen and sort of get turned around. Oh, I might have aggroed that guy by accident. Here we are. Another abomination. Got too far away. He did the jumping screech attack, and we can just drop him now. So you guys can see here, this is those the next spawn I was talking about near the big rock. And along here, you can have a couple of blight crags spawn as well. You guys can see one just off in the distance over there also. So make sure you go gather that if you can. Now we are about 6 minutes into the actual mining route. We've gathered just over 100 oil, I believe, and we are about halfway done the nodes themselves. Make sure you grab that little small one next to it as well. Sometimes the small ones can sort of pass by and you don't really realize you missed them until it's too late. So, once you gather these, we are going to head down towards that blight root right in front of us. And there's another little collection of seeping stones. So we're going to grab our blight root. We're going to grab that seeping stone that's right behind it. And we're going to keep moving. After you gather this one, the next one is going to be a bit out of the way, somewhat, not very much. And it's just going to be more towards the inside here. And then we're going to make our way back down. There it is right there. Again, right here on the map, I missed my ping a little bit, but we were pretty close. We were pretty close. After this, we do have a bit of a hike just to get back to the general mining area, and we're going to head down towards this decrepit building here. Again, not that decrepit building, one of the other decrepit buildings, which is why these pins are so important, so useful. Now, again, we do manage to walk through that without actually getting stuck and slowed down, and there is our seeping stone. Next one is going to be just to our left here, and we are probably going to aggro that big, giant, angry alligator right there. Maybe not. And we keep moving. So you're just going to walk across here. And you guys can see it on the map already. There's our seeping stones. Now, there are a couple of alligators that I believe patrol this area. So just do keep in mind you most likely will have to fight them here. Now, you guys can see there's another river crest. There's a bunch of blight crags over on our compass as well. So, like I said, if you guys find you're running through this route really, really quickly, not fighting too many mobs, and you want to make it a bit more lucrative for yourself, make sure you go gather each and every single one of those. The motes are invaluable. The gathering resources are invaluable if you do Arcana or crafting of any way, shape, or form. Again, we are just right here. We're going to finish this last one off here. And afterwards, we are going to make our way just down towards this lake here. There we go. So we are going to make our way across the water here, across the road. If you have a far enough or wide enough berth around these guys, then you should be able to just walk by without any issue. We're walking right by this Blight Crag. No point in not mining it. And you guys can see our Seeping Stone is right behind me there. So we're going to gather that. Afterwards, we are going to head just a little bit more southeast. Pardon me. You guys can see a bunch of them already popping up on our compass. Again, this area very much patrolled by these alligators. We will probably have to fight one, if not both of them, and that's okay. Get a little bit of weapon XP, get a little bit of raw hides, and continue getting our oil. So you guys can see we're officially at the 200 oil mark from this gathering route, and we are, give or take, 10 minutes into it. So that's a decent amount. And then we have, obviously, our last one just right there. So, once gathered, we are going to... Oh, pardon me. There we go. And he's coming back. We're going to have to fight him now. Could be preemptive, but, you know what? Maybe he won't hear or see us. And that ship has sailed. Alright guys, if you are fighting alone as a caster, if you hold Alt, or if you hold Control, pardon me, it will self-cast a lot of your heals. So good to know for, your that little dome thing that you can cast on the ground. What the heck? That was weird. It wasn't registering the hits. Alright, we're just gonna take his hide. Oh, never mind, we're gonna fight him first. Again, unfortunate that it's not a mob-free route, but it ultimately you end up getting a lot more resources from it, so it's not the end of the world entirely. There we go. Alright, and we were just finishing up one of the nodes right over here. So, once this one's finished, we are going to head over into this direction over here, towards the other decrepit building, not to be mistaken with the decrepit building from earlier. You guys can just see it on the other side of the water there. We might have to fight this Spectre here, and that's alright. So you guys can see there's a Blight Root right in the middle of this quad spawn. Oh, there's an Abomination that we're definitely going to have to fight. Again, it all depends on their walking patterns, their routes. They all vary to a certain extent. So, sometimes you fight more, sometimes you fight less. Like I said, bring a life staff with you or be a higher level and you should have no issues whatsoever. There's no named mobs right here. So depending on your server, if you guys are not into the crafting game and you're just here to make some gold, that's totally okay. Just keep in mind, oil can sell, it's pretty volatile, just like in real world. It can sell from anywhere between 20 cents or 0.2 gold to all the way up to like 0.9 I've seen on my server. So just keep that in mind that if you're doing this with, you're trying to do this with any consistency, you're going to have a lot of volatility based on the time, the day of the week, you name it, it's going to vary a ton. Go, just finish what we were doing here and go over and gather our last one here. Wow, that was a fast respawn. Unfortunate. Again, if you stick to him, you shouldn't do that annoying jump screech attack. There we go. Alright, now our next mining spots are going to be in this general direction over here. You might have seen a couple of them actually appear. Oh, these are already respawned. That is impressive, actually. All right, well, we take those. I'm not going to argue with that. Normally, these are on a much longer cooldown or respawn time, but you know what? We will take it. All right. Now, oh, another one right here. There we go. That might have been our next spot, actually. Who knows? Who knows? It was actually our next spot. That's funny. I just got turned around. So once you've gathered those, we are just going to head to the other side of this lake here. And towards that specter over there. You see it. We're most likely going to aggro him. They do have a decent aggro range. That's okay. Again, get some weapon XP. There we go. Once you've gathered this, we're just going to head further southeast towards the road. And right around here should be our next spot. This next node here should put us up over the 300 mark. And because we already gathered these, which would have been the next ones in our route, the 3 or 4 that spawned right here, we are just going to head back towards this building here. And we are going to get stuck in the deeper water, and that's all right. You guys can see the teleport in the background. It's really not far. We got another Blight Crag there that we can grab without pulling any aggro. Let's do it. Again, you want to be gathering as many of these as possible. The value of them is massive. There you go. You guys can see the Blight Crag spawning right there as well as all of the nodes that we want on the other side of this decrepit building. There's the Blight Crag right there. So this double spawn here, just again on the other side of this decrepit building, is going to bring us right towards the end. This is our last double spawn right there afterwards. So we're going to grab this sleeping stone here. And you guys notice we are almost back to where we started, which was right in the elbow, sort of directly in front of us. We're going to grab this sleeping stone. We're going to get that Blight Crag as well. You guys can see it's actually a very efficient way of leveling your mining as well. We're a couple of levels in now, so very efficient. And here we are. We have another double spawn of the sleeping stones. And it brings us back to almost our exact starting point, which is going to be just over here. And a giant alligator just spawned. Hopefully we can get these in and out in no time flat. There you have it. Now we walk back towards our starting point, and you guys can see this is actually the second node that we mined on our original track, and our starting node as well has respawned. So, all in all, we got all the way around our track here. Oh, pardon me. All the way around our track. We went here, all the way up and around this lake, back down, through here, across, back down, and to our starting point. And then the time it took us to do that, we got all the way back to the start, and all of the nodes have respawned. So you guys can see it's very, very efficient. If we open up our inventory, you guys can see we're at 553. So 330, give or take, oil every 10 to 12 minutes. We're at about 18, so maybe 15 minutes. So you do what you want with that math. But you can do this almost in perpetuity. Like I said, there's no cooldown. You just can keep running it over and over and over and over again. And again, oil sells for a very volatile amount. It can be either 20 cents, or it can be all the way up to almost a full gold a piece. That's going to wrap this one up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please do let me know. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you really liked it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. Take care. Ciao.